Yo, yo, hey, sorry. I think I may have just started like a second ago, but we are going to continue on with this build of the Exia here in just a moment. Oh, an interesting night it has been. Yeah, there's trolls out there. How are you guys doing this evening? It's Saturday night. Tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, we've got Gunpla Talk. So I'm gonna do this stream for a while, and like sleep, and get up and be live again. Hey, and good morning. I've already got all the parts here cut out for the arms frame, for the frame arms, for the arms of the frame. And so let's get to it. The instructions for the fingers are like really complicated, so I didn't cut out all the individual parts for the fingers because I really need to pay attention to the numbers for those, probably. But yeah, as usual, guys, if you're hanging out there in the chat, if you have questions or anything, please feel free. Leave your questions in all caps, so that way I'll try to see them when I look up at the screen. How's it going? It's your birthday, James. Happy birthday. Did you get any Gunpla for your birthday? New Super Robot Wars game announced in 2 days. Well, if you already know that it's coming, then isn't it already announced? Show us your cat. I don't have any cats. Okay, I have 2 cats, but no, I won't show them to you because I don't feel like going to grab them. I'm trying to get some work done here on this thing. But yeah, he's here. How often do you change your knife tips? Usually not every build. For like a mat, I'll usually use like 1 blade all for 1 master grade. For a high grade, I can get through a couple high grades with 1 blade before I need to change it. But you can tell when it starts getting a little bit harder to cut through, then it's time to change the blade. We need to start feeling increased resistance. Do you drink while sanding nub marks? I am while I'm streaming. I usually don't because I'm usually snapping at work. I don't think it'd be cool to drink while at my desk in an elementary school. Is that music kind of loud? How should I go about removing the seam lines on the Graze's lower legs? Same as with anything, I suppose. Nippers, knife, sandpaper, whatever you got to do to get the job done. Hey, I know at the moment there's 84, 85 of you guys watching live now, and probably some more will come in later on in the stream. But if we could avoid asking favorite questions tonight, that would be cool, because over the past couple live streams, I think I've answered every single question of what's your favorite fill in the blank. So Some other varied questions would be cool. I've got the RG Unicorn, but I was wondering what's difficult about building it. Nothing in particular. This is the kind of post that you sometimes see people, and people get a little bit frustrated with this question when people ask this in groups, because it's just not really an issue. And a lot of times it seems like you're asking the question for different reasons. But when people ask, and if you've spent any time on Facebook, I'm sure you've seen posts like this where people will post a picture of some kit and say, hey, I just got this kit. Is there anything I should be aware of? Or like, is there any problems? Like, hey, I just got this kit. Is there any problems with it? Or hey, I just got this kit. Show me yours. And basically, it usually just seems like a very thinly veiled, hey, I just got this kit. Go me, because I just got this new kit. But if you've built one kit, you've built them all. Like, some kits do have like some really specific issues, but that's what YouTube reviews are for. Blog reviews or whatever. Just search YouTube. I'm sure someone has probably reviewed it. And if there's any major issue with it, the reviewer probably would point that out. Or just build it and find out. If you're building it and you come across a major issue, then, you know, work it out. I understand some people are just like beginners, and so they just want to know like ahead of time. But again, it's nice that we have the community, a lot of different communities on Facebook in the form of different Facebook groups that are places where you can go to ask questions. But for something like that, I think it's just the kind of thing, when it's the kind of thing that you can just easily find out on your own, people tend to get a little bit more annoyed by that. Me personally, I don't really care that much. I just scroll past it. But, you know, it's that thing. Will you customize the Gundam Exia for a commission? This Gundam Exia? No, I don't think so. It's not, at the moment, this isn't going to be a commission or anything. I'm just snapping it just for the review. And then painting it maybe someday later on. Yeah. Answer to Life's Taco Gumpla, to Life Tacos Gumpla 42, or summoning, saying add God to duel and become. Oh, okay, I don't get that. RE Jagan is impossible. MG is more likely. What's your favorite question? My all-time what's your favorite question is, what's your favorite Gundam? Because obviously my favorite Gundam has to be the Zaku. I mean, just look at my name, ZakuAurelius. So, of course, my favorite Gundam is the Zaku. Do you think we could get the Jagan on 100 scale in the near future? I would say we'll probably get a Master Grade Jagan at some point. It's just a matter of time. With so many different high grade variations out, Bandai knows that there's a market for Jagans, apparently, or they wouldn't be putting out so many different variation high grades. So I'm sure it's just a matter of time. I'm sure they could just use the exact same frame, like the 2.0 Gundam frame that they're using for the GM sniper kits and the GM command kit that's coming out. They could probably use that exact same frame for the Jagan as well. So like there's half the work already done right there. It's just a matter of time. Who knows what Bandai's reason is for waiting so long to make a Master Grade Jagan is, but there's a lot of things that Bandai could do. You only have so many hours in a day, right? I can attest to that. Why do you dislike Gundam markers? Because they're just there's just better ways. Anything that you can do with a Gundam marker, there's just better ways to do it with other things. And Gundam markers usually seem to be used by people who are pretty new to the hobby, or at least just new to getting into trying to paint stuff. And what they'll usually do is just use Gundam markers. This is usually how you end up seeing Gundam markers in use, is that people will use Gundam markers just directly from the marker onto the kit, trying to paint in some little details and stuff. And that just doesn't really look good. I think for most people who do that, it probably does look totally passable in their eyes. But I think once they see that, like later on, once they start to advance in their skills, they're gonna just feel like, oh man, why did I ruin this kit by just painting it with Gundam markers? Like that, I thought that looked fine at the time, but man, it looks so bad. So just to save people from that, I think I usually just like to recommend just don't use Gundam markers, just use other things. It's like you could do this in this way, which sort of works, but doesn't really look that good. Or you could do it in a different way, which works better and looks better. So, like, what's the point? What other things? Other things depends on the application. If you're just painting in small little details, so what I use is just a brush and enamel paints, which if you're going to use Gundam markers, what you can do is, of course, just let out some of the paint into just a small container or something, small dish, and then just hand brush it, which would probably be the best way to use them. But at that point, why not just buy just a little bottle of enamel paint, something like that. If you're wanting to paint in like a larger section, then your better bet would just be actually spraying paint, whether you have an airbrush or a spray can. You can just use masking tape, mask and spray a section. You'll just get better results. It's hard to paint and not get brush strokes. Well, when you're painting with the tip of a felt tip marker, it's going to be a little bit harder to avoid just having an uneven, for just frankly gross looking paint job on a part. Why do you prefer enamel over acrylic for hand painting? I don't know. Enamel is just what I've used. I've really only tried hand painting with acrylic a couple times, and I wasn't really good at it. I didn't really get the results that I wanted. I think I probably just need more practice, but enamels just work fine for me for the applications that I've needed them for, so that's just kind of what I've stuck with. Felt like I could try using acrylics more, but there's just not really any point to it. Enamels are cheap and easy to get. It's not a problem for me to use them. There's the fumes aspect, of course, but I have a mask. I can just wear a mask if I need to. Of course, with acrylic, you don't need to wear a mask at all. You don't need to worry about that, which is nice. But yeah, it's not for any particular reason. But I don't really use acrylics, but just don't need. I have some, and I've been meaning to give them a try a bit more, but just need some time. Yep. Do you think you can ever finish your backlog? Well, that depends on if I'm ever able to actually do this for my full-time job. Then I think I'd at least have a better chance of actually getting through my backlog. But as to whether I'll actually finish it, I suppose probably not. I'll probably die first. Can you answer my question? Yeah, Colin, if I see your question, I'll answer it. But I didn't see it, so sorry. Yeah. Carl Sagan. Whoa, Carl Sagan's in here? Amazing. What is the tallest kit you own and the heaviest? Probably the heaviest kit that I own would probably be the Ziegler. I haven't built it yet, but I'm sure that's the heaviest kit that I own. And I suppose that would probably be the tallest as well. I imagine that's taller than pretty much anything. It's technically a 1 to 100 scale, but I'm sure that it's probably taller than the Perfect Grade Unicorn. I think the Ziegler's total height was something like 34 centimeters or something like that. So the Mega Size Unicorn might be about the same height, or maybe a little bit larger actually. So the Mega Size Unicorn might actually be the tallest. Do you sell off almost everything you build, or how much do you keep? I keep most of it. Yeah. How frequently do you get commissions? Not that frequently. Not as frequently as you may think, I guess, but sometimes I get asked about it. Sometimes it's usually when I post something, like after I finish a commission and I post a video about it, like just showing off like the final product. And if I mention that it was a commission, then people just then it's usually like right after posting a video like that, then I'll get people asking me about it, like, hey, I saw your video and was wondering if I could get a commission from you, like that. So if I don't really say anything about it, then I probably won't really hear anything about it. If that makes sense. So not that often. Like I said, I have a couple like on the books, and I'm kind of leaning towards, as I mentioned, I think in the stream the other night, kind of leaning towards not doing any more commission work after that. So I just want to do my own work and then sell my own work. Because yeah, there's a lot of stuff that just I would like to make, and I don't have a problem selling my own work. So yeah, as I said the other night, getting money for work, doing commission work is cool, but I can do my own work and also get money by just selling that. So that way it's like the best of both worlds. I can make exactly what I want to make, fulfill my own ideas, and still get some money to then buy more kits. Do you play any Gundam games? I did before, and like mostly for PS2, like Encounters in Space and Zeonic Front. Those games I played some, and then like on Xbox 360, I played the Dynasty Warriors Gundam games. Enjoyed those quite a lot. Sorry. Back in the day on the PS2, I played, or PS1, Gundam Battle Assault 2. Battle Assault 1 and Battle Assault 2, but Battle Assault 2 much more. Battle Assault 2 was just much, much better of a game. Yeah, those are really super fun games. I really had a lot of fun playing those. A friend of mine, especially one particular friend of mine, and I played those games a lot. That was like the time when Gundam was big on Toonami, and he was a little bit into it, not as much as I was, but enough to be interested in playing the game with me. Yeah. All right, let's see. And this one here, like that. Polycap S, and this one here, like that. Where? Here? Where? Huh? What? Here. Huh? What? Here. What? That one. Here. There we go. Oh, okay. Now we need the LED here. So this is going in here. R. Okay. L. Okay. There's L and R, and I just happened to pick the right one for this one. Good job. So that goes there. One, and then close up this arm. In this stream tonight, I'm hoping we can finish up the frame. We've just got the arms and the head left, and then hopefully get started on some of the armor. Armor, I think, will probably go a little bit faster, slightly faster, because like all the hard stuff is done. With the frame, then just putting on the armor is just all the exterior stuff to go on that. Congested. This guy on here. Oh, I forgot the stickers on that, so come back off there. Stickers. $98. Yeah, why do all Xeon Gundam names sound like throw-up noises? It's an interesting question. I don't know. So see, you've got your clear part, and then you stick this kind of blackish sticker onto the back of that. And then you stick this foil sticker on top of that to cover up the center part. It's like a foilish kind of sticker. Yeah, on a side note, earlier this evening, I saw this on YouTube and it was quite fun, but did you guys see Mark Hamill on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert? It was a fun interview. Mark Hamill is a funny guy. He's like, well, old, but he still just seems like a big kid, hey? It's cool. He's loving it, man. That was fun. You need to understand how much wider the Gyaradoga is. Okay. Then this guy. This. No. Yeah. That's that one. And then this one. This one here. Onto there. And then what's that? This one onto here. All right. Sorry, I got the group chat going there. Preferred music to listen to while building. Usually while building, I'm just listening to YouTube videos. I'll just have like some YouTube video playing in the back. This is another thing I was talking about in the other night in a previous stream. So Yeah, kind of already answered that, but yeah, usually we'll just play some news video. Stay up to date. Staying woke. Staying up with all my conspiracy theories. Checkpoint. No, I sometimes do like to watch conspiracy theory videos because it's interesting. Just like things about like how we didn't go to the moon, or what is it, ancient alien archaeologists, or all that fun stuff. The meme with the guy, the ancient aliens guy. It's interesting. What do you guys think? Did we actually go to the moon? Or no? What made you think about becoming a YouTuber? I didn't ever think, when I started this channel, I didn't think about becoming a YouTuber. I would call myself a YouTuber now, I guess, just because, like, I don't know what the criteria for being a YouTuber would be, but I think once you get to like a certain point in YouTubing, you kind of start to feel like a YouTuber. And yeah, I suppose I feel like a YouTuber. Anyway, sorry, how did I decide to be a YouTuber, or whatever your question was exactly? How did I, or why did I think I wanted to be a YouTuber, or whatever you said, sorry. It was because you can go back and watch my very first video on this channel. I explained what my intentions were and why I wanted to start my channel. And it was basically just because I had some like P-Bandai kits and third-party bootleg kits and things like that that weren't being shown really much on other channels. So I thought I would just do some reviews of like some of those kits that I have that were like a little bit more rare, or just like not really being shown by other people on YouTube. And then that was kind of it. And then I had the idea of doing the Gunpla news because no one else was really doing it like that, quite like that at the time. So I started doing the Gunpla news videos, and that became quite popular. People liked that. And whoa, okay, hang on. I need to check this. So this is like that. And this is like that. What the fuck? Okay, hang on. This is like weird. Oh, and then I had been to. Damn. I had been to Japan. I just was on a trip there with my girlfriend at the time, now wife, and made that first like Gunpla shopping in Japan video that I made, and that was super popular. And the channel just kind of continued to grow. This is strange. Turn that. God damn. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah. Ron asked, ever made a diorama? Not really. No, I don't think so. Kind of working on my first, like, maybe sort of little diorama here. I'll just kind of show you this. It's not really much of a diorama. You know, these like little 1/3 scale Mach K kits that I got, like this, and they come with this little base for them. I just painted up this one sort of like a road with a stripe there. So planning on just having this guy on here, and then I have this. This is also 1/35 scale, but this is from Megatro We Go kit. So still in the process of painting these. These aren't done yet. Needs more work on these, but then just kind of having them just kind of standing together on this little thing. So that's technically a diorama, I guess, but it's not a very complex one, and it's quite small. But yeah. What is your favorite Zeta Gundam kit? Yeah, are you talking about like Zeta Gundam as a series? Okay, hang on. This step here, okay, this is really confusing. Here it says part 2 is to twist it, but twist what? Which way? And then put this thing on and then twist it back around. So what? Move this part and attach the wire and attach it while avoiding the wire. What? So, okay, turn this like that. And then so it's like wrapped all the way around there. And then put this part on here. The fuck? Really not getting this. I really want an MG Camper Amazing to come out. Any MG you want to see from Build Fighters? Not really. An MG was that Leopard? What was that? Leopard, that green one with all the guns. That would be cool, because I would like just a Leopard destroyer from Gundam X. Move this part and attach it while avoiding the wire. Okay, fucking I don't know. So I'm just gonna put this on here and just see how it goes, because it's just pissing me off. As long as I got the wire where it needs to be, I figure I'll be fine. Whatever. That's on there anyway. Then this part connected to that. There we go. This part in here. Down there. Okay. That was a annoying step. For fuck's sake. 1, 2. Straighten that back up. And place the wire before attaching the part. So wire through. Huh? Oh shit, that's on the body of the kit. Come off you. Need this. Come off the base, please. Okay. This one through here. Huh? Oh. And down. And then onto here. And then into there. And then, what the hell? Up through the armpit. In there. Yeah. This must be really entertaining to watch. When do you think, if at all, will the Dandelion upgrade released? Dandelion upgrade, are you talking about for the HDR and Blood Orphans kit? Because I don't think that's coming. Is the waist really loose? Look like it shakes a lot. Yeah, the waist is really loose. And here, hopefully you guys can see that. Here, there, this piece is, the upper half and the lower half are held together with this piece here. Let me get something to point to that. Here. And basically, it's the bottom part plugs up, like this bottom part here, plugs up into this part here. But obviously, the weight of the legs is going to pull that down. So I would definitely recommend just gluing that. That's not going to, gluing those parts together isn't going to bother anything for the articulation of the kit. It's just that I think you might not be able to separate the bottom half and the top half, like when you want to paint it. So maybe once you've painted that, we'll definitely glue those two parts together. I'll talk more about that in the review, of course, but yeah, definitely going to want to do something about that. I heard about that even before I started this kit. Alex told me that Sungdong had that issue with it, or had noticed that issue with it, and Alex gave me the heads up on that. So, of course, at the time I didn't know exactly what he was talking about, but now that I've built it, I can definitely see that issue. So, okay, and then you need to connect these. When will you review the HG Buildfighters Cherubim Saga? That will be my next review, the Cherubim Saga. So I'll probably record that review tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, possibly tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, the Cherubim Saga is next up to bat, and then probably the Gym Sniper Custom after that. Okay, my fingers are too big for this to be able to plug these into each other. Oh. Ugh. You have to plug in these two connectors together, but like you have like 1 centimeter of cable on each end, and you need to turn one around. There we go. Got it. Okay, that's tricky. And then slide that into there, and slide that back up, and slide that down into there. Store the connector here. So it's like kind of there like that. All right, there we go. So that's one arm down. Then we got the hands. Yeah, that looseness there in the waist is haggard. Okay. F22 will be this one here. Off the back with that hand. Clenched hand. For the fist, I'm going to use the fist for now. It should just plug into there like so, right? Just going to use the closed fist. Moment. The fixed posed open hand. For the fixed posed open hand, the thumb is on a ball joint, so that can move. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. And now let's do the hand. As I mentioned earlier, all these parts are really specific. 12. So that's why I didn't cut them out beforehand. M32 would be that one. Besides Gundam, what is your favorite anime? Evangelion. Evangelion. 35, 33, 34. Evangelion or Dragon Ball. The original Dragon Ball series. Evangelion I love, but it's not the thing that you can just like put on at any time. It's a little bit more of an effort to watch that. Dragon Ball is something I can just watch anytime. Anytime, anywhere. She heard somebody say alien. She thought they were talking about illegal alien and signed up. Huh. Where you come from? I'm from Illinois in the US. Snowball asks, Mark asks, Ava, original series or rebuilds? It's not an easy question to answer because I think if you've seen the original series and the movie End of Evangelion and the rebuilds, then you know that it's not quite as simple as that. I don't think it's any big spoiler, so I'm just gonna spoil it. But if you're worried about spoilers about the Evangelion franchise, then maybe turn off the audio for like the next 2 minutes. But yeah, as obviously those of you guys who have seen it, you may be aware of the fact that Rebuild of Evangelion is not exactly a retelling. It's not like a reboot of the anime series. It's not like retelling the anime series. It is a continuation of the story after the end of Evangelion. So I think it's a little bit kind of open to interpretation of exactly how that happened, but essentially Shinji just decided to world reset, and things, as they do, happened to play out once again in just about almost the exact same way, except in this time they just based on sort of related to string theory, I guess, like different variations of the universe, but a little bit different, I guess. But some things worked out the same, and then other things, then like just based on choices people make, that some things weren't wound up turning out differently. So while the rebuild movies, like, they start off very similar, almost exactly the same, like the original series, but then it goes wildly different because things worked out differently in that timeline. But then, like, you get to the point where Kaoru is Kaoru. Sorry, I mispronounced it. I like misread it for so long. I'm now like in the habit of it. Kaoru is introduced in the rebuild series, and he says something like, "Oh, it's the third child again," or something like that, as in like he's privy to the fact that history repeats itself, basically, in a way. That's what he's saying. Like, it's Shinji who's at the helm of the third impact or fourth impact or whatever at the time. So yeah. So in terms of which I like better, I mean, it's all the same story, so I like it all, but I enjoy different aspects of different ones. I really like just the kind of interesting aspect of the rebuild movies. The original series, though, I think, of course, is just classic. Masterpiece. Yeah. So I don't know if that made sense. I don't think I'm really good at explaining that. What do you guys think? Do you like the Star Wars Bandai kits? I haven't built any yet, but I will be building some. Some people have been asking me to check out some of the Bandai Star Wars kits, as in to review some of them. So I got the go-ahead from USA Gundam Store to go ahead and pick some up, pick up a couple of those kits, and they'll sponsor those reviews for me. So I will be reviewing a few Bandai Star Wars kits probably in the nearish future, but I've got a bunch of kits already lined up in the review queue, so I'll get to those when I can, you know. That would be that one. Currently working on a PG Banshee Noir. What's a good Panaline color? Well, Panalining a black kit, you just kind of can't unless you don't paint it black. I mean, if it's just a dark color, like a dark navy or a dark gray or something, then you can just use black. It kind of be the best way to go. Some people will use a lighter color, like a gray, light gray or something. Or for the Banshee, I guess you could be a little bit more stylistic with it and Panaline with like a bright orange, something to match like the glow of the cycle frame. But for me, I don't like if it's like a dark color and like Panalining a lighter color. It depends on the environment that you're imagining the mobile suit in. Usually, like Panalining, what the purpose of Panalining is to show like shadow. between panels because you're imagining the kit as being a giant robot, and you want to show some like shadow of that, just to sort of make it seem larger than it is. Shadow and or just like dirt in the panel line, and dirt is usually not a light color, so it's just like dark brown or black. So for me, whether you're trying to make it, what shadowy or dirty or whatever, neither of those things are like a light gray color or whatever else you might use, a light color that would show up against black paint. Unless you're making it like a desert type suit where it would be with like sand or like a lighter colored dirt, in which case having like some light tan color or something like that for your panel lining would make more sense in real world, and you could probably pass that off. But yeah, I don't know, just try to think. I mean, you could be stylistic if you want, or if you want to try to keep it more realistic, then just try to think about the kind of the real world situation. Hope that helps. What are you guys arguing about in the chat? Going to start on my first PG, Unicorn Final Battle version. Any tips? It's the exact same question that I talked about earlier in the chat. No, I don't have any particular tips for you building your perfect grade unicorn. If you've ever built any other kit before, it's exactly the same process, just more parts and bigger parts. So just follow the instructions slowly and carefully and have fun. Yeah, I see you guys arguing. What are you arguing about there? You guys are arguing about some animation stuff. You guys just take it outside, will you? No. Don't clog up my chat feed arguing about some animation stuff. Just like what you like and let other people like what they like, and just get over it. And Adrian wants to know why you got to move to Korea. Ever since probably like the beginning of high school, middle school, I wanted to live in Japan. My plan was after college to move to Japan to teach English, and just not like I really dreamed of teaching English. I just wanted to have the experience of living in Japan. And so I had that as something that I wanted to do for a long time. And then once I did finish college, it just kind of didn't work out for different reasons that way. So I couldn't really go to Japan straight away. But then I had the opportunity to come to Korea. So I thought, okay, just go to Korea first and then go to Japan later. So I did that, but then I came back to Korea. Yeah. I spent a year in Japan and had a very mixed experience. I think I enjoy both Japan and Korea equally, and for different reasons. There's pros and cons to both, just like there's pros and cons to anywhere in the world. Both are thoroughly enjoyable places to live. So, yeah. The reason why I stay here in Korea is because it's a comfortable place to live. It's a nice place to live. Good quality of life here. I got a pretty good job. Obviously, I'm married and my wife and family are here. My family here, obviously, my blood family on my side, obviously, is all in America, but all my wife's family, everything's here, so yeah. Aren't all Verkas UC? No, actually. There's also, let us not forget, the Verka Wing Zero Gundam, or Wing Gundam. Yeah, strangely, that's the only Verka that is outside of the UC timeline for the time being. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up getting a Verka Barbatos. Whoa, imagine. At least we'd finally have a 100 scale Barbatos with longer thighs. It's one thing about the design of the Barbatos is that the thighs are so short. It looks fine when it's standing, but when it's got bent knees, you have to look at it at a certain angle for it to look right. Because of those short thighs. Man, there's nothing quite as boring as building articulated fingers for a PG kit. This is why I don't like articulated hands, especially where you have 3 parts per finger and each part has 3 nubs on it. So 9 nubs per finger times 4 plus 6 more on the thumb. Yeah. What a fun way to enjoy a kit. Give me fixed pose hands over articulated fingers any day of the week. It's all fun to be able to have your Gundam giving the middle finger with articulated fingers, but you can only do that so many times, and then it just starts to lose the funniness. The other thing about articulated fingers is that you usually always have mold lines on every single one of these little fingers, so it's just a lot more sanding. It's a little more difficult to paint because you have to get into all the areas where they move and everything. It's just so much easier to just have fixed pose hands. All you got to do is pull it up and pop a different one in anytime you want to change the pose. Incredibly easier and more convenient. Why do people hate the Lupus Rex? It's supposed to look beast-like. I actually don't hate the Lupus Rex. I kind of really didn't like it at first, but I've grown to like it a lot more after building the kits of it, the HG and the 100 scale. I appreciate the Lupus Rex a lot more now. Okay. I'm like 100 messages behind in our Gunpla Talk group chat. We were like chatting about some stuff here before I started the live stream, and since I've been building, I haven't been looking at the chat, but a little bit behind now. We'll have to catch up on that a little bit later. Get this other arm done, and then so we can move on to the head. So yeah, putting that arm together definitely took a little bit longer than I expected. But now that I've done it once, the second one should be much easier and quicker. So let's do it. A kit, I mean, not sex. Any Grandma's Boy fans out there? Is Tsingtao your preferred beer, or just what's in the fridge? it's not my preferred beer. It's one of my preferred beers for this situation. Just because you can get a big bottle of it like that, big bottle, and it's pretty cheap. It's about $3 for that big bottle. My preferred beer, actually, I like Kirin or Asahi, Japanese beers, because I'm a weeb like that. Not just because I just like them. Korean beer is pretty awful. It's obviously the Korean beer and Budweiser are very cheap here, but as hard as it may be to believe, Budweiser is a little bit better than cheap beer. If you can imagine Budweiser being better than anything. I can drink those fine, but if I had a choice, I would choose something else. Yeah, so anyway, Tsingtao works. Kirin and Asahi are more expensive. For the same amount of Kirin or Asahi, it would probably be about twice the price here, unfortunately. Even though Japan is very close to Korea, many things imported from Japan the price is actually pretty high, just because I think of trade agreements between the two countries, which is something that I don't really know particularly too much about, but just from what I've seen. So here, Asahi for the win. Yep, Asahi is good. Kirin is definitely my favorite, but Asahi will be a close second. I have no problem drinking Asahi. Sapporo, I don't know. Sapporo is probably good as well. I just haven't drank Sapporo that much, as much as the other two. Not for any particular reason. Yeah, I'd be cool with the G Self Verka. See someone in the chat there kind of talking about, you guys are talking about Verka and G Self and all that. It squeaked out in that poll, didn't it? Right. So G Self, not one of my favorite designs, but I think it could make a cool master grade, and the master grade would undoubtedly be better than the high grade. So, like, if we want like a nice kit of the G Self, it'd be nice to finally get one by getting it in master grade form. And if it was a Verka, I really don't care if it's a Verka or not. If it's a Verka, that means it'll come up with some nice waterslide decals. That'll be a plus. But otherwise, I mean, yeah. It's kind of just whatever. Maybe in the next poll, we can expect MGG Self Verka in the future, probably. Yeah, I mean, it won the poll, but it really doesn't mean anything. I mean, at least now Bandai knows that there's a lot of people who do want the kit, but they're not like obligated to make it now. They have done that in the past, where a kit that wins a poll does actually get made, but there's been plenty of other times where something that's won a poll didn't get made, so it really doesn't mean anything at all. And I've heard that from people as well, people who would know much better than me. I can just base what I know just based on patterns of just what you can observe. But I've also heard it from people who would know, who are much more involved in the business with Bandai and everything. So I kind of would put a lot of stock in what they would tell me. So yeah. HG CGM ground is about hi Zach. Definitely, we need more 100 scale age IBO and G-Reco kits. There's a couple of Iron Blood Orphans kits that would be cool to see in 100 scale that we haven't got out yet, but Iron Blood Orphans does have a fair amount of our 100 scale kits out already, so it's not something signing a petition for, like, give us some more 100 scale IBO kits. But some more 100 scale age kits, I could definitely agree with that. And 100 scale G-Reco kits, I could sort of agree with that it would be cool in one sense, but in another sense, most of the designs I'm not really all that into particularly, so I wouldn't really, it's not really something I would get really super excited about. There's a couple that I would love, like one of my favorite designs and also one of my favorite kits in that line is the Gastuma, and I would love a 100 scale version of that. That would definitely be cool. The Gastuma is a really cool kit. I haven't built all of the HG T-Reco kits, but of the ones that I built, the Gastuma is far and away my favorite. Perfect Pack was pretty cool though too. Am I the only one who would love a new Big Zam kit? Yeah, no, probably not. I'm sure a lot of people would love a Big Zam kit. It would definitely be very big. I noticed in, I'm sure as many of you guys are probably aware, about Hobbylink Japan is having their Christmas sale on now. And in the sale, I noticed that there's the HGC Psycho Gundam is there in the sale. And then also there's a SD Gym Custom. So I thought, oh, you could just get the Psycho Gundam. I think it was like 4,000 yen. And the SD Gym Custom, I think, was like 300 yen or something. And just put the SD Gym Custom head on the Psycho Gundam and paint it red, and then you've got your Psycho Gym. You don't have to buy the P Bandai kit, and it costs you 4,300 yen plus shipping. Yeah, Mechameister in the chat there having a good point that I would agree with, saying that after looking through Hobbylink Japan's sale items so far, there's not really a whole lot in there. Yeah, I've ordered a few things from the sale. I just did that actually earlier this evening. I ordered some decals. They had a whole bunch of Haikyuu decals in the sale, which are like the best decals. So I definitely recommend you guys picking up some of those. Check those out. The decals that are on sale. Picked up some of those, and then a couple of kits, a couple of Evangelion kits, and then a couple of HG kits, the Terran ground type and the Terran space type, and then also the Goof custom, the HGC Goof custom. When I reviewed the old 1144 scale Goof custom, a lot of people were telling me that I really need to check out the HGC kit. So I'm listening to your guys' advice and gonna check out the HGC Goof custom. By all accounts, it's a really nice kit, and it looks like a really good kit. So it's not like I didn't buy it before because I doubted if it was a good kit. I just hadn't really bought it for just like standard release kits and stuff like that. It's not a P Band item. There's not really any rush to get it. If I find it at a good price and it's something that I want, I'll pick it up. And it was at a pretty good price. I think it was 1,200 yen. I think the list price is like 16. So it's not that much different. I'm sure I could have found it in Japan for like the same price at Mandarake or something for around 1,200 yen or 1,000 yen even possibly. But yeah. My spending finger got the better of me. Is the MG Gundam worth it? If it was me, I wouldn't buy the MG Gundam. I would just, it depends. I would wait, kind of as I am doing. I would just wait for the possibility of a 2.0 coming out someday in the future. I don't know when that may possibly ever happen. I'm hoping that it will, but I really don't know. Or on the other hand, if I wanted to like actually make a bigger project out of it and like kit bash it, I think you could do some cool stuff there. Just the problem with the Master Grade God Gundam is that it's a little bit dated, and for a kit, for a mobile suit that's like specialized for martial arts, articulation is going to be something really important for doing some cool poses. You could modify the joints and stuff, or if you're making just like a diorama or something, just make it just fixed pose and just modify the joints so that they don't have to actually move, but they're just fixed in a particular pose. But the kit just as is isn't very well articulated just due to it being a little bit dated. So yeah, I would say it depends on what you want out of it, but if you want to be able to do some cool poses and plan on modifying it or kit bashing it, or just do like me and just wait for hopefully maybe someday a 2.0 to come out. Can anyone recommend me a good MG Gundam? The MG, the Origin Gundam, RX 7802. The Origin Gundam, fantastic MG. I prefer it more than 3.0, RX 782. 3.0 is really nice, and if you want the more traditional looking Gundam, they're both pretty traditional looking, obviously, but between the two, I would go for the Origin version. MG Ball. That's another project that's on my to-do list someday, is building an MG Ball and turning it into just a cell phone holder. I want to turn the arms upside down. So, you know, the ball like has the arms on like the top one is like 2 claws, and then like the bottom one is like 1 claw. But I want to turn it upside down so that the top claw is just like back like that, and the bottom claw is open, so it'll like be able to put your cell phone in there. So it's like a stand for a smartphone. That's been on my to-do list for a long time as well. To make a ball cell phone stand, smartphone stand. Hang on. Favorite version of the RX 782 still has to be the 1 Year War version. I haven't built that version, but everyone says it's really good. I really like the look of the Verka, but that one also is going to be kind of dated, not really the most articulated or most detailed, but I just like the look of that one. Which one would you pick up, the Perfect Grade Mark II or the new PG Exia? Probably in mobile suit design, I prefer the design of the Mark II, but as far as kits go, I think the Exia is probably a better Perfect Grade. But the Mark II is definitely not a bad Perfect Grade either. It's got some cool gimmicks, nice detail, nice design. And that one is too. One thing about the Perfect Grade Mark II, though, is I think the face looks a little bit derpy to me. I like the design of the Exia, of this Exia kit more. I hope that makes sense. For like mobile suit design, I prefer the Mark II. Kit design, I prefer the Exia. Alrighty, let's put this guy together. Here, I need this, like that. This like that. This here. And this here. There, this polycap here. Did you guys hear that the Master Grade Astray Turn Red is going to be just a standard release in North America? I did not know that, but I saw that today. Sort of like the Master Grade XN Riser was. It was a P-Band item in Japan, but for North America they made it just a standard release item. That's pretty cool, right? For all the folks who love to hate P-Bandai, that should be a sigh of relief for anyone who is interested in getting that Astray Turn Red anyway. Stay there. Do you wish the MG-F90? Do you wish MG-F90 was released? Not really. The F90, F91 like designs aren't really some of my favorite designs out there, to be honest. So, just personal taste. I don't really care too much for those. Those wouldn't be high on my wish list. There's certain aspects of those designs that I like. There's some cool bits, but in general, how many hours do you sleep a day? I usually go to sleep between 2 and 3, and then wake up about 7:30. So feel free to do the math on that. I'm too tired. That's pretty standard. There'll be some nights when I'll go to sleep a little bit earlier, around 12 or 1. It's possible, but it would have to be a very extreme circumstance for me to actually go to sleep before 12. I would have to be like very sick. It wouldn't happen. But as much as I wish that I could, I can't keep up a schedule of going to sleep at like 2 or 3 every single night. So every now and then I do have to go to bed a little bit earlier. Yeah. With hours like that, here, and then this one is like this. This one is like this. And on there. No, hang on. And like there. And this one going on here like that, and then you got this one in here like that. No, like that. Sure, you don't need more sleep. That's little. Have you always slept this little? Yeah, kind of. That's just kind of been my thing. I'm very much a night person. So in college, I was always up late. Of course, as you do, as you're a college student. Whether it be for work or play, you're always up late. And then I was, then right after college, I came to Korea, where I'm living alone, single in another country. You stay up late at that time too, and especially like my first job here in Korea, I was working in like a private academy where I'd start work. I don't remember, but like around 11 or 12 in the morning, so I can sleep in every morning too. So yeah, just kind of staying up late is just something I'm just kind of used to, and I enjoy. I really wish that I was able to stay up late and get up early in the morning. In reality, I wish I could just not sleep ever. I'd be able to get so much more done. But unfortunately, that's just not possible yet. Oh, I think I've got that in there wrong. Oh, that one's right, but this one is wrong, I think. So hang on. There we go. What did I miss? Commandant Alpha, you didn't miss much. Putting the second arm together here. We didn't needed it more. And then this guy in here. And this guy in here. And this guy, not that one, this one. Here, close that up. And then, close that up, and then put this here. There we go, like that. And then how best can I do this? How can I do what I'm doing better than I did last time? I'm always trying to improve my performance. I think that's one thing I just continue. This one here. And this here. And this one here. Yes, that's right. Bend to that, and then bend to this, and connect to that, and bend that back, and close that. And this one, and here, and this here. This second hand, I'm not going to build the fingers for that right now. Just to know. I'll do that later off camera. You guys don't need to see me do that. It's just stupid. I'm sorry that I made you guys sit through watching me put together one of those articulated hands already. Should have just saved that to do it off camera. Here's the second arm. Now we can put this together. This one through here, and then down through there. connect this here. There, and then put this onto here. Let's keep that on there. Connect that onto the body there. Then once this is connected onto the body, this one wire coming out of the torso, you have to put this up through the armpit, connect that to this one here for the arm, and then like store it back down inside there. It's kind of complicated. It's just hard to do when you have big fingers like me. So that's why it can be helpful to have some kind of little tool like this. Help push that through there. Push that through there. I really want to see the mold that made this. Huh? Up through there, then we need to connect this, which is also a little bit tricky. Like that. Connect. There we go. All right. Much easier the second time, fortunately. There we go. Cha-jang. And yeah, that waist is annoying. Let's build the head frame. Thoughts on the HD wound? Sorry, Jake, I think I saw you ask that earlier as well, but I was in the middle of talking about something else, so I couldn't answer your question. But my thoughts on the HD wound are that I'm ecstatic about that. The hands on it look awful, but you can obviously change hands. Just get one of the HD build custom, like the Jigen or the Jigen build knuckles, whatever, for that, and just use a smaller hand type. The hands that they got on there look like they just like took those like big, huge block ugly hands off the HD Tristan and put those on. Just noticed that I'm not really using these green ones. Oh, maybe you put these on. Okay, sorry, later on for like the armor must be. But I do need to use some of these for the head. So this would be B1. But yeah, the HD Woundwort looks really cool. I think aside from the hand, it looks really good. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. Definitely B1 4. That'll be nice. And, you know, now that we're getting the Master Grade Hazel out, although it's P Bandai, Master Grade Hazel out, and the HD Woundwort, and it seems to be that Advanced Zeta is getting some more love recently, so that's good, and just kind of makes me think, what else might they release from the line? The Master Grade Hazel, as much as I love it, and I love that they're doing that stuff. Hang on, sorry. As much as I love that they're doing anything more Advanced Zeta is a good thing. But, I mean, let's be honest, the Hazel Custom, that's like the plainest of the, okay. That's the plainest of the Advanced Zeta designs. It's kind of like the most boring one. So it's cool, but there's so many much more interesting designs that they could have gone with instead of that. but it's something, and hopefully whatever else comes out in the future will be one of the more interesting designs, like the Woundwort. Let me see here. There's a question. Has there ever been a kit that Bandai ended up not releasing you wanted? Sure, there's plenty of stuff that I would like to have that hasn't been released. Okay, that's that. And then we also need runner G. Nope, that's E2. That's G. 12 and 13. Yeah, I don't know. I could go through a long list of things that I would like to see in kit form that Bandai has yet to make, but I'm sure there's plenty. G8. I think just kind of all of these parts look like they're for the head frame here, looks like. So I'm just gonna pop all these. What's that for? Hi, Zach. Do you have a day job? I most certainly have a day job. Oh, Jetfire, sorry. Okay, you were talking about canceled kits, so kits that Bandai kind of like showed and then never came out. Yeah, that hasn't happened too often. There have been some, right? And that is kind of disappointing. We saw the artwork teased before for like new real grade kits. I think that included like the Ground Gundam and the GM that have yet to actually come out in the real grade line. It would have been cool to see those, I guess, but as I mentioned in other streams and other videos, I don't really care for the RG line all that much. I don't really like the RG line as much as other lines, so the fact, that's that, okay. The fact that a few RG kits didn't come out that were teased, as cool as they may have been, it's not really that big of a loss for me. Oh, there haven't really been that many other kits that like have been shown and then were canceled. The Assault Buster parts for the Master Grade V2 weren't ever shown, but I've heard that they were like at least planned out. It's kind of disappointing that those didn't come out because I like the Assault Buster equipment for the V2 Gundam. But at the same time, I didn't really like the V2 Gundam, so not really too sad about that. I think there was like, what, the Master Grade Age FX or something was another one that a lot of people were disappointed that didn't actually ever end up coming out. I was never that into Age Gundams that much either. So that one also didn't really bother me all that much because it wasn't something that I was really super into. But yeah, to the guy who asked about my day job before, yeah, I'm an English teacher. It's a glamorous job. Hey Zach, have you ever tried to get your students into model kits passion? Or are they too young? They're not too young. Some of my students are actually into model kits. Some of them. But no, I don't really ever do anything with that like in the classroom. Well, a few of them maybe. Most of them probably aren't into it. And it just wouldn't be really relevant. My class period is just 40 minutes, so there's only so much that you can get done in 40 minutes. And we do have like a curriculum. So it would be kind of hard to fit that in. Hang on, guys. How much more expensive are Gunpla kits in Korea versus Japan? Not that much different, actually. You can get kits here in Korea for pretty much right about at the list price. So while you can get kits a little bit cheaper in Japan, you can get them for almost as cheap here in Korea as well, which is nice. So as I mentioned before, imports from Japan, some things can be strangely expensive, but not the case for Gundam models. So I think it depends on the type of item. I think like food things, consumables and stuff, maybe have a higher tax rate for importing those. Whereas like consumer goods, like Gundam plastic models, maybe is less. I don't know, but could ask someone else who maybe knows more about that. But all I can tell you is that the price on Gundam models here in Korea is cheap. So, as I've mentioned this before, just sort of related to that, but here's just an anecdote about that. So, like USA Gundam Store is my sponsor, but they don't physically send me the kits. I just get the kits here in Korea, and there's two reasons for that. Is because number one, just the time. If we waited for the kits to actually be, because there's a little bit of a delay before the kits actually reach America. So we waited for the kits to actually get there to America, and then for USA Gundam Store to then send it back across the Pacific Ocean to me here in Korea. I would be getting my reviews out to you guys even later than I already do, just due to just being busy. But the other reason is just that the kits are just much cheaper here. So if USA Gundam Store is going to be investing money in supporting my channel by supplying me with kits, it's much cheaper for them to just, like if some new high grade comes out and it costs 1,200 yen, I can get it here for right about list price, like about $12. So I'll just buy it here, and they just send me like the funds for that. So it costs them just $12. Alternatively, if they get the kit, they have to pay, whatever they paid. As a seller, whatever they pay for the kit, plus the shipping to send it to me in Korea and all of that, it's going to end up costing much more, right? And then, as I mentioned, the time as well. So I think I really over-explained that. I think it's a really simple thing, but just to explain it in thorough detail, I guess. I have a tendency to do that. I am long-winded, as you guys are probably all very well aware if you've ever watched any of my reviews. I know some people appreciate that though, so that's a good thing. When it comes to reviewing something, I guess giving plenty of detail is not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes you'd like to just hear me throw on my radio DJ voice and give you like a 5-minute review, just hitting all the key points and then throwing in some memes and being done with it. Right? But there's no reason for me to do that, because you can find that on other channels. Do you wish Bandai would reissue the 1/44 scale Musha kits? Musha designs aren't really for me, to be honest, so that also wouldn't really be very high on my wish list. Alrighty. The last LED part. Nubs. Zach, do you even know what the 1/144 scale Musha kits are? No, actually not particularly. But if it's Musha, then it wouldn't really be to my particular taste. So, got me? That's stupid. Pickle Gundam, you guys are weird. Okay, that's like that. Zach, do you prefer ABS or polystyrene for inner frames? Polystyrene probably is less susceptible to breaking. From thinner, so that's good. But ABS is also has its good points, I suppose. Oh, hey guys. See, we need this part. We need some stackers. A whole lot of stickers here in the head. So, let's see here. Whoop. Every time I do that, I'm dropping that sticker sheet. Yeah. Oh, you guys. Sticker 100. Hi, ZakuAurelius. PG, Exia, PG RX78, or PG Strike. Mark II is out due to the droopy face. It's up to you, man. Between those three. Oh, hi, Zan. Between those three, you can't really go wrong. But PG RX78 too looks cool. I mean, you can make like something like that. The Exia is also cool, and the Strike is also a really great kit as well. Perfect grades. I think the Exia and the Strike would be quite similar in some ways. Oh, dang. I need sticker 13. Like this. So. Dang. Sticker on ya. That's 1, 2 stickers on that, and then the stickers on the other side of the head. Put this on. Excuse me. What's the deal? Okay, that goes on there like that. Huh. Like that. No. Oh. Yes. Like that. Zach, you planning to stream more random Gundam work in the future? Probably. I mean, it just depends on what I'm able to do. Much of the time, I'm doing my snapping. This type of work I'm doing at work, in my downtime at work. And then when I'm here, working in this room at night, I'm usually working on recording videos or just my own work, painting, or whatever else. So doing the kind of things that I can't really stream at the same time while I'm doing that. I can't stream while I'm painting because I'm wearing a mask and it's noisy. You wouldn't be able to hear anything. And I think it would be incredibly boring to just watching someone painting. Even more boring than it is just watching someone snapping. And obviously I can't really stream while I'm recording a video. That also just kind of defeats the purpose as well. So that's kind of why I don't stream more often, and it's usually mostly just when like some new big kit comes out like this. But given the chance, I would like to stream more when I have the opportunity. So yeah, I was saying last night, guys, if you want more content, then the way to help me do that is by supporting your boy on Patreon. Life costs money, and I'd love to be able to do this as my full-time job, but frankly, the book says no. And that's a reference that I would give someone $100 if they could tell me what that reference is from. How did that go? It's kind of really hard to see. I saw someone there in the chat a minute ago ask what I'm listening to. I don't know. It's something on YouTube that says it's Chill Study Beats 2, instrumental and jazz hip hop music. I don't know. I think it's just nothing in particular. It's something that sounds okay and won't get me a copyright strike on my video on YouTube. Hopefully. It could, probably. But I don't think the YouTube algorithm will catch it. These photo stickers don't really bend very well. They need to bend and stick it, and it doesn't really want to stay down there. Hopefully it'll be okay once that's on. Now for this clear part inside the head, you need to kind of stick some stickers onto the inside of that. I guess just to kind of help keep the light where it's meant to go. Five of these little stickers you need to stick inside of there. No, that should be like this. Oh God. Oh God. It's tricky. Whew. Hard to line that up. Stressing me out. That goes like that? What the fuck? Why? Doesn't even fit there. What? Okay. Interesting. You guys can't really see that. There we go. I can see that like mirror stickers inside that clear part. Okay, so once those are on, in here, in his dome piece, and then slide this guy in the back, like that. The wire is kind of in the way. Can you like go down out of the way a little bit? That'd be cool, thank you. Slide that in. It doesn't really want to fit in there tightly because of the wire, but hopefully once the outer armor is actually on there, it will actually fit in more snugly. We got sticker B. This is the last of these inner stickers, I think. Ooh. It's a tricky one, but it does fit on there pretty well, fortunately. And that goes in there. And And then this goes onto here, the front of the head. And then this one goes on top of here to hold everything in place. And there we have it. No chin. Let's continue on a little bit with the build, but before we do, let's take a second to take us. This light is too bright. Sorry. I need that to kind of like light up the desk, but not really. It's kind of in your face, I know, but how about over here? Is that better? That's kind of not really better. How about here? 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 Or just off? Let's take a second to throw this up on the base. See how it looks. Connect. Drop them on here. There we are. I'll turn off the lights. And divert that one a little bit so you can see on. And bring it a little bit closer so you guys can see this here without that. On. Ooh. Fancy. Stage 1. And stage 2. Oh boy. Ooh. Yeah, these cables here on the side light up really nicely. Very cool. Stage 2. Blushing. Ooh boy. Whoa. And then back to normal. I don't know how you guys can see that. It's kind of, the LED doesn't spin, but it like lights up in a sequence so that it kind of looks like it's spinning there in the back, which is pretty cool. And then it'll all light back up again. So, and lens flares. Yeah. How you like that? Zow with some Evangelion style vertical lens flares for you there. Let me snap a pic. Adjust this a little bit. That'll work. Let's get these lights back on and get back to work a little bit. On. Like that. There we go. Off. And that's the first part of the armor that we're building. We need to take out some stuff on the okay. Anyway, it's the chest armor. So let's take this off. So now we're meant to remove the hands and the GN drives Although we're not putting any armor onto the arms yet, so I won't really worry too much about taking off the hands, and we'll take off the GN drive in a minute. Let's get all the parts we need for that. Very nice. We do need a this the runner A1 and A2. One, two. A2, A1, 16. Okay. Eight, 7. Yeah, 6, 7, 8. You guys are carrying on in the chat pretty well, but if you, again, just a reminder, if you do want to ask any questions, I will still answer that. I know I'm not talking much and just kind of focusing on this, but I should talk to you guys rather than just sitting here quietly. That's making a already boring stream even boringer, even more boring. So ask me some questions so I have something to talk about. So why did you go from living in Japan and studying Japanese to living and teaching in Korea? Well, as I mentioned before, I actually lived in Korea first. I studied Japanese, but then I lived in Korea first. And then moved and then spent a year in Japan. But then I came back to Korea. Yep. D, this one, D11 and 12, these guys. Did you take the JLPT exam? Which level? No, I never took that exam. Nope. So I didn't really need to for what I was doing. D, 11, 12, 14. 14, 13. Okay. 14, 14, 13. Zach, is it still worth it to get the PG Exia without the LED? The LED is expensive, but I think the kit would still be cool without the LED, but it's so, I have to say, it's probably just going to be so much better with the LED. I mean, without the LED, it'd be a cool perfect grade. With the LED, it's a awesome perfect grade. So that's what I would say. As many have pointed out, it's very likely that some Chinese bootleg company will make an LED set for this, which you would be able to get for much cheaper, but I can't recommend that. I would recommend just getting this if you can. you're going to have guaranteed quality rather than questionable quality. E. Why are telling? Oh, okay. That'd be for the later section. Damn. That's annoying. Okay, so we don't need the E runner. E2. Also don't need runner F though. You do have some other F parts here. F17. That's a tiny part. Damn. F. How about a DIY LED kit? Yeah, you could. I mean, by all means, you could totally make your own LEDs if you have that skill. I don't, but if you do, then yeah, by all means. H11, very large part here. H3. Will you review the Cherudum Saga type GVF? Yes, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, the Cherudum Saga is the next kit that I'll be reviewing, so that'll be coming in the next couple days. Hopefully we'll get that review recorded tomorrow, and maybe tomorrow night we'll post like the unboxing, and then on Monday we'll post the review. H14. H2. H1, H4. It's a really nice shade of blue, too. This like slightly purpley blue. I like it a lot. And then here we need H5, 6, 12. Okay, just all the other. Okay, everything else on this runner. So all of the blue parts on the H runner are all going on the torso. If you guys would have just told me that, I could have just cut them all out in the first place. It's one runner down. I3. Almost got all the parts we need here. HI26, 21. I think pretty much all of these parts on this runner are also going on there. 26. There's a lot of good lo-fi hip-hop 24-hour streams around. Yeah, there's so much of it online, and I think it's probably not copyright free, but there's just so much of it. I think it's just kind of around that. I don't think it's. I think like if I was like a hip hop artist and I wanted to use like some of these beats like to make a song, then obviously I'd have to pay for the use of them. I think I missed those parts. Yeah, 20. But in this case, I think the only way I'll really get in trouble probably for using this music is if like the original artist sees this and contacts me and is like and reports me. So please don't tell them. I2711278. Huh? There we go. 8. Oh, that's annoying. I hate when you like have almost all the parts gone on a runner. Like you really want to toss the runner. There's like just like 1 or 2 parts still straggling on there that are going to be used like way later on in the kit. Damn. Just 2 I9 and I25. It's probably used for something on the skirt there, I'd imagine. I9 and 25. They look like the parts for like inside. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so we do need this part for the inside of the cockpit hatch. That's what it looks like it's supposed to be. So that means just I9. Did I miss that somewhere? Looks like maybe, unfortunately not. And our I9 will just, partner I9 will just have to stick around for a while. That's annoying. Where does it go? I don't know. Shoot, I have this huge runner and I want to just throw it, but there's just 1 part still remaining on there. So, okay. But I think I have all the parts here that I need for the torso. It's a good amount here. Let's get these cleaned up and put on. Next question comes from RC Television. Gaia Notes or Mr. Hobby? Both. I use both. They have much of the same-ish colors, but you'd be surprised how they can have different color tones. It's like, for example, Mr. Hobby has character yellow, and then Gaia Notes, it has like orange yellow, I think it's called, or yellow orange. It's like very similar, but they will be slightly different. So you can always just stick to one line, either Mr. Color or Gaia Notes, and then just mix your colors to change the tone to whatever you need. And they do have their own separate thinners as well. So while you probably could use the same thinner for both of them, don't think that would really be too much of an issue. It's recommended that you use the appropriate thinner to go with the paint. I don't really know how big of a deal that really would be. Yeah. Bye, dude. Intergates are annoying. Hey Zach, shout out from Michigan. How would you compare the complexity of this kit versus the Unicorn? I think the PG Unicorn is definitely more complex because you have like layers of frame. You have like inner frame and then psycho frame and then other inner frame parts that kind of like layered over the psycho frame and things like that. And then you have the armor all on top of that. In this kit, the inner frame is relatively simple because it has to house the LED units in there. The Unicorn has the LED units going through that too. I think that's like it's much more fine weaving of the wires throughout the frame. You have less space to work with because you have to have the psycho frame parts in there amongst just the regular frame. Whereas Exia, it just doesn't have the psycho frame, so they have some more space inside there to work with. But I would definitely say the Unicorn is probably more complex kit. And yeah, shout out for Michigan. That's cool. I like Michigan. I haven't been around too much of Michigan, but I have been to like the west side of the Mitten many times. So like on Lake Michigan, some really nice beaches there, and like Grand Haven, kind of that area, like west side of Michigan. If any of you guys are from that area or like from the Chicago area or something, you may know about that. But I think that's like Grand Haven, South Haven. I think like what are some other areas there? Other towns along that area. Anyway, yeah, cool area there. How did you decide which kit to box up after an out-of-box review? Well, unless I'm going to immediately start work on painting it, then I'll just most likely put it back in the box. Because it's just kind of the easiest way to store a kit until I do get around to painting it. Don't have much shelf space. So, yeah. Will you ever come to Tampa to the Gundam from Japan store? Don't know if I'll ever go to Tampa, but if there's a good reason, then I may go there. Yeah, Tampa, Florida. Yep. You guys are talking about an ice age or something in the chat. Oof, almost broke this part here. Careful. Hey. It's A2, H10, H2, H9. One of these here. Hey Zach, how's the Exia going so far? It's going pretty well. I really like it. Pretty fun build, and it sure does look good. Doesn't look like much now, but it already looks really fantastic when it's lit up with just the inner frame. So once all the armor's on and everything like that, it's gonna look really cool. How does this go? That's the wrong one. Oh, there's the right one. Sorry. In there, like that. What do you think about the RG Banshee? The RG Banshee is not surprising at all. And the RG Unicorn was a great kit, so I'm sure the Banshee will be equally as good. The problem with the Master Grade was that, and the Perfect Grade as well, the arm's not really strong enough to support the DE shield. But the RG's joints are pretty strong, pretty solid, so I imagine it should actually be able to hold up the DE shield pretty well. We'll have to wait and see, but I think that finally weight won't be much of an issue for the Banshee. So that'll be nice. Yes, hey, any of you guys in Australia? So I know the Gunpla Builders Australia group had their Christmas party tonight. I think if any of you guys are in Australia, you must be up very late, because I think it's depending on where you are in Australia. I think it's later there than it is here, or earlier. How does that work? But it's late either way. But yeah, I know the Gunpla Builders Australia group. It's a good group, and they had their Christmas party tonight. So sounds cool. I heard from Lincoln that they're having a good time there. Where is your Tiefstammer? My Tiefstammer is over there, on the other side of my desk, in the box. I actually totally built and painted the Tiefstammer and just never told you guys. Can you believe it? Han asked, what part is this? Currently, Han, this is the armor for the torso. The inner frame is all done, and now we're starting on the armor. So this is all the armor for the torso unit. It's a fair amount. Actually, probably a few more parts than I would have expected. But it's not all armor. You do still have like some of these like mechanical parts that are kind of like frame parts, but they were not actually on the inner frame. They are like connected on the underside of the armor, something like that. So those kind of parts are you're putting on now. This step. Let's get this big piece out of the way. Wonder if he will mod his own Aurelius Zaku. A couple people have asked me about that, about making my own custom Zaku, not like just my take on making a custom Zaku, but like a signature use, like by me, kind of like that sort of thing. A couple people have asked me before about like making that, or offered up the idea. I don't really know what I would do to make a ZakuAurelius themed Zaku. I don't know. I guess with the whole Aurelius thing, it would kind of make sense to give it like a sort of Roman armor, Roman style like armor. Would sort of make sense, I suppose. What grade of sandpaper are you using? This sanding stick is, I think, 600 grit. For sanding sticks like this, for just that I use for just like kind of sanding nub marks and just kind of sanding the surface of the kit, just for like general use. I like to use about 600 grit. I think it's pretty good. 600 or 800. 800 is a little bit light. It's not really very strong. 600 is usually pretty good. 600 though is right about at that point though where it's going to be rough enough that you probably need to sand with something lighter before painting, because you'll still have the sanding marks on there. So this is a question actually that I've been meaning to do a frequently asked question video on the topic of sanding grit. So I'll just save that for that video. I'll maybe try to record that video later this week for you guys. But asking about sandpaper grit is a question that I do frequently get asked, or just frequently see. How often do you change sanding sticks? Just whenever I need. Depends on the brand, I think, too. Probably some brands maybe last longer. The brand that I've been liking recently is Stylex. I don't have the box. It's elsewhere here. But Stylex is like I think it's like just a Korean brand. I don't know. I think you might have trouble getting them in other countries. But I like this small size one much more than the big ones. This is just like much easier to use. The big ones, I feel like I'm just holding this like big, huge thing on this tiny part. It doesn't really feel as comfortable. I like these small ones. And this is a soft one, so it's like a little bit flexible. It's not as rigid. So that kind of works out well as well. I think I forgot that part. Oh, there it is. There's the I9 part that I was wondering about. It's right there in front of me. Stupid. Didn't notice that. That means we will use that part, and I can get rid of this runner. I'm dumb. Ha! Ha! Off to the recycling bin with you. Any tips for fixing broken joints? Well, my tip first would be try not to break your joints. But after that, kind of the best bet, I think, is probably using a pin. So take a drill and drill through the parts, and then get kind of a rod like this. This is aluminum. I would recommend a brass one. It'd be stronger. And just, oh, here's another one too. This is a wider. This is 3 millimeters. It's probably more than what you need unless it's a really big kit. But yeah, some brass rod. Just drill through the parts that are broken. Stick that rod through there. Add a little super glue, and you should be set. It's still going to be a little bit fragile. I wouldn't recommend playing with it much, but it'll be strong enough to stay together anyway. Mm-hmm. What do you like to eat in Korea? Well, that's a good question because I think Korea is known for basically two foods. Well, I guess depending on how much you know about Korea, but I think the most famous things about Korean food are Korean barbecue and spicy food. So Korean barbecue obviously is generally not spicy. There are some spicy foods that you can have. Among Korean barbecue is kind of a very vague thing. There's a lot of foods I think that would fall under that, but Korean barbecue I think in general is mostly referring to the, like samgyeopsal or galbi, and neither of those are spicy, so that's not a problem. But my point is that I don't really like spicy food, so much of the Korean food that's spicy I don't really enjoy too much. Some of it I can eat if it's like less spicy, but the more spicy stuff just I don't enjoy. But probably my favorite Korean food would just be oribulgogi, which is duck meat. So it's like kind of in the same style of like Korean barbecue of like samgyeopsal, but it's duck meat. Super good. Are you ever going to review the MG Quanta or the 00 Riser 7 sword? Probably not. I may someday get one or both of those kits. I feel like a little piece of cut off nub flew up my nose. I can keep feeling something like tickling inside of my nose. It feels like it's a little piece of plastic. I may someday get one of two or both of those kits, but it's not high on my to-do list. So at the moment, no plans to review the Master Grade 7 swords or the Quanta. What's the best way to paint in the winter when you can't open windows? Get a spray booth or make a spray booth. If you search like ZakuAurelius DIY spray booth 2, don't watch my DIY spray booth 1 video because that one was like really ghetto. My version 2 spray booth, which is the one that I use now, is much better, and you can make it. Still costs a little bit because I think you should get a better fan. Don't get like a lot of people when they make a DIY spray booth, I think will use like just like one of those like just like kitchen fans you can get like for the kitchen or bathroom, like exhaust fan from a department store or from like a hardware store, and they cost like 20 or 30 bucks, but they're not that powerful. Like it'll kind of do the job, but especially if you have like a house with children or pets or something, who will be more sensitive to the fumes. You really want to make sure you're getting those out because they're not healthy, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of painting. If you paint like one night a month, not going to be that big of a deal. But if you're painting even fairly regularly, you want to have a good enough fan. So spend a little bit more money. I think the fan that I got was more like around 50 or 60 bucks maybe, because it's a more heavy duty one, but it works really well. It's a little bit louder though as well too, so that's kind of the downside of it if you're worried about the noise. It's not really an issue for me. I can use it while my wife and son are sleeping, and it doesn't wake them up because it's on like the totally far opposite side of the apartment, so they can't hear it at all. When I've got the fan going and my compressor going like that, obviously it's quite noisy, but from the other side of the apartment, they can't hear it at all. And I haven't ever got any complaints from the upstairs or downstairs neighbors either, so I don't think it's been an issue. Zach, can you speak Korean? Yeah, I can speak some. Yeah, I mean, I've been here for 6 years, so I sure hope so. I can't speak enough as what I should be able to speak after living here for 6 years, because I don't ever like actively study Korean. I just kind of pick it up as I go. But yeah, I guess probably my wife and wife's family and co-teachers, like Korean people who I'm close with, would probably tell you that my Korean's pretty good. But I think they're just being nice. I don't think it's that good. It's passable. Do you want me to say something to you in Korean? Have you ever met another Korean Gunpla reviewer? Yeah, I'm good friends with Sungdong. Yeah, I did an interview with him, and then he started his own channel not too long ago, Gundam Lab. If one of you guys, obviously I'm busy at the moment, if one of you guys know the channel I'm talking about, drop a link in the chat there. I think you should be able to put a link in the chat. If you can't, then maybe let me know, and I'll take a second to find that for you guys. But Gunpla Lab, I think he's not one of the more famous Korean YouTubers. There's a couple of like really big Korean YouTube channels. I think Gundam and Bunkerpla, I think, are probably more widely known. I don't know any of them though. The guys at Gundam and I don't know Bunkerpla either. I think Sungdong knows him, although maybe not well. Actually, other than those three, I don't really know, like offhand, any other Korean YouTubers that come to mind. Do you watch K-drama? No, definitely not. I hate K-dramas. Can you watch a show in Korean? I think you're meaning kind of like I watch a show in Korean and understand it. I'll be able to understand a certain percent, but definitely not all of it, no. Not enough that I would know exactly what's going on at all times. I'd be able to infer much of what's going on, things that I don't understand what they're saying exactly. Just by being able to understand just a certain percent of it, I can tell what's going on, but I wouldn't be getting all the details. But I generally don't really like, I don't like watching TV in general in any language, but I especially don't really like watching TV in Korean. Just because the shows that they have are just garbage TV shows. I mean, that's why I just don't really like watching TV in general. I just kind of find most of what's on TV just kind of garbage anyway. So I just stick to YouTube, where most of what's on YouTube is garbage too. Any chance of having an MG Kshatriya? I very highly doubt that. I think if we get a 1/100 scale Kshatriya, it'll be in the RE100 line. They did already say that the Kshatriya is a candidate for the RE line. I think that came out, that image is like 2 years old now. So it's at least in consideration for the RE line, but that doesn't mean it'll actually come out in the RE line. There was some report like a few years ago, a while back, that Bandai had been trying to test making a master grade Kshatriya, and just the weight of it would have required them to use metal die-cast parts for the wing binders to be able to support those, and that would have just made the kit too expensive, so they had to abandon the idea of making a master grade of it. I don't remember where that particular story came from, but I would guess it's legit because I've heard that many times, and that just seems to be just kind of like the common knowledge answer to that question. So I'd assume it's a legit story that's true, but I can't remember the source. Do you like the Barbatos Lupus 1/100 scale kit? Yeah, it's a pretty nice kit. Nothing I could really say too bad about it. It's a little bit bare bones in the accessories department. It doesn't really come with a whole lot of like weapons or anything. I think it just had the mace and the cannons for the arms. I think that was pretty much it, right? far as I can remember. I need to get a vacuum in here. The floor is messy. All right, let's put this armor on. Ideally, I would like to get through the head, but I think I really need to go to sleep after this, so missed a nub on this part here. It's almost 3 here, and like I said, I have to get up and we have Gundam talk at 8 in the morning. So yeah, probably just get through this armor for the torso, and then we'll have to call it a night. Come out with you. If the Barbatos Lupus got a PG with every weapon, would you get it? If the Barbatos Lupus got a PG with very few weapons, I would still probably get it. Just because I'd want to review it. If nothing else, I'd at least would want to review it for you guys. But it would be interesting, no doubt. So any kit that looks like it would be like at least an interesting and, well, if it just looks like it would be an interesting experience to build, then I'd like the opportunity to check it out, to build it. So that's why I'm very lucky to be in the position, or very, hang on. What? That goes underneath there, like that. Okay. So I'm very happy to be in the position that I'm in, where I'm able to be supported by sponsors who get kits to me that I'm able to enjoy the experience of trying out lots of new kits and sharing that with you guys. There we go. Couldn't quite get that on there. And you in here. There. Okay, and this one here. Here and here. When's the next Tristan part? I need to finish this first before I can get back to work on the Tristan. So as soon as I finish this and get the review of this kit out for you guys, then I can get back to work on the Tristan. So yeah, there's your answer. What is your most favorite Gunpla model kit, Jimmy? My most favorite model kit is no doubt the perfect grade Exia. This is now my favorite Gundam model kit. No, I don't know. I couldn't answer that. I don't have a favorite. Sorry. I know that's a non-answer. but it's too difficult to answer. This guy in here, almost done. Not that one. This one. And this one. And then H1 would be this one. Which will go like this. Like that. And then that goes on this part. And then this part goes on this part. Like that. And then you have your front chest part. And we need to lift this part up. And this front part down. Then put this on. And then fold that back up. Put these little yellow guys here on the top, here and here. There and there. Looking a little bit more like the Exia, little by little. And then let's see, we need this part, which is like this. This one, which is.
I appreciate the sentiment. I'm afraid it's nothing more than a daydream.
This one or that one? I think it's definitely this one. All right, there we go. That, and then.
Stop.
I think this one is right. Yeah. There we go. That's right. And then this one in there. This one on top of here. And this one on the back of here. Like that. MG Exia or MG Age 1 normal, design and build wise? Sorry, Steve, I haven't built either of those, but as far as I know, both of them are fairly nice kits. One thing I've heard a lot about the MG Exia is that the ankles are kind of weak. I have built the Exia Dark Matter Masquerade kit, and I can attest to, at least on that kit as well, the ankles being a little bit weak. But as far as the Age kit, I'm not sure. I haven't really ever heard much of anything about it. As you imagine, with Age not being quite as popular, people aren't really ever talking too much about that. But it looks like a solid kit, as far as I can tell. Now we can put our GN drive back in. Close up our little clamperoonies here on that. And there we go. The torso armor is done. And I am also done for the night. Time to go to bed. Thank you guys so much for watching. What type of color did you use to paint the inner frame? I didn't paint the inner frame on this yet, but it's this new color. It's just out. It's called dark gray. I'm just messing. Anyway, yeah. So thanks for hanging out, guys. I was really hoping, like at first, when I first got the kit, I was thinking, I can probably finish the build over the course of like 3, maybe 4 live streams. I think it's going to take a little bit longer than that, unfortunately. Do you guys want to see the whole thing on camera, or like can I do some of it off camera, not in a live stream? I know some of you guys like hanging out in the live streams. I'll probably do 1 or 2 more, but I'll probably need more time than that to actually finish the whole thing. So maybe what I'll do for like other parts of the kit, like I'll do 1 leg off camera and 1 leg on camera, and 1 arm off camera, 1 arm on camera. So anyway, some parts of it I'll do off camera if it's like doubled like that for like the arm or the leg. I know from what you guys can even see on the video, you can't even really see what I'm doing all that well anyway. So I don't really know how helpful it is to like see the actual building process of the kit anyway. But anyway, that's gonna be it for this evening, guys. I'm gonna go sleep, and I'll see you again in 5 hours for Gunpla Talk. So good night. Bye.